Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the game RivenWorld, and the beta testing is going to be coming up this coming Friday. It's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. my time, and anyone can sign up for it. You can do it through their Steam page or you can do it through their Discord, and I'll put their Discord information down in the comments below. But today I just want to go over the nuts and bolts of dev stream number 7. So let's just look at it. I'm going to have to forward it here a little bit because they got started late, and I don't think we start seeing things until now. So right now it is playing. So what they began this week to discuss with us is their server, how they did their server, buttoning that up, and how your computer connects to their server. Now, I could get all techno-gadgetical on you, but let's just say they're doing it right. Trust Tarkus in telling you that they're doing it correctly. They're not doing anything outside the norm, not like New World did when they started saving files to people's local boxes, and then you could dupe gold, dupe items, dupe everything. This developer is not doing that. They're actually doing it the correct way, where all server client save files for the character is saved on their server end, and there's no chance to hacking the information during that exchange, because they did go over their encryption process that they're doing to make sure that hackers won't be able to dupe gold, dupe weapons, and other crazy stuff hackers do. So trust Tarkus in saying that after listening to what they were talking about tonight, that they're doing it the right way. They did show this screen here for a little while, so let's get moving on here. They talked about basically what I just summarized in that window of time. Now, the customizer was a little funky here. Do not worry. What happened was, as while he was doing this, he mentioned that it was kind of funky, that they just buttoned this up recently, just today. And I'm thinking to myself, well, guys, as soon as you go into the real world, it's going to fix itself. And sure enough, and I almost typed that guys, just build your character, customize it, and then when you get in here, this little error that you're seeing is going to resolve itself when you get to the modeling end of getting into the server. And we're going to see that it does exactly that. But while we're here, we're going to look at, you can customize your character. Now, you're going to see at the top it says customize in the player's name. They're not going to use your Steam name for this game. It's going to be a username that you choose. We passed that in the video, but basically you create your character, you give it a name, then you're going to go back to the main screen, and then you're going to join whatever server you want to join. For the beta, I believe he said he was going to have 2 servers up, one East Coast, one Central. So there'll be 2 servers for the beta that you'll be able to choose from, which one is going to be a better ping for you. I'm obviously going to probably jump on the Central one, even though I'm East Coast, because I play late. And so that allows me an overlap on players. So if I go East Coast server, most of the people are going to bed when I'm still wanting to play. So I normally choose a central server when I choose servers for myself. This way I get an overlap to time zones, because I play really early in the morning. And that's ideal for people that are playing in California, because when they're going to bed, that's basically when I'm going to bed. So that works out. They went over the customizer. This is going to have a really robust customizer. You'll be able to make your character look any way you want, tall, skinny, male, female. They went over that. Again, it doesn't look right here in the modeling for the customizer, but it's going to resolve itself once they get into the game. I knew it would. So they did go over and started to apologize multiple times. So basically, you go to once you create your character, you go to this main window. And here he went over all the settings. So the game's going to have all the settings, a robust server side setting for key binding, to resolution size, do you want to see the effects on high. If you've played any game in the last 5 years, you're familiar on how settings work. So they're going to have what you would normally see in the settings. So you'll be able to key bind, turn the sound down if you want. They spent a lot of time on the 2 topics of settings, customization, and how they are doing the server. So this week was more of a techno jargo kind of feat. So I'm still forwarding through this because they spent a lot of time on the settings, and we're gonna okay. And then you're gonna get, once you decide your settings, once you decide your character, you're gonna choose the server. This server looks like it was set for 64 people. That seems to be probably what they're gonna go with. They might try to load on more. They might get a server filled with 64 people. They might increase its population and see how the networking and lag works. So 64 seems like what they're coming out to right out of the gate. All right. So as you can see, the character looks fine once it rendered into the actual server world. My question to them was, because it doesn't look like in a lot of games, was this my connection causing this, or was this their connection causing this? All right, sorry about that. So in a lot of games, you can take the mouse and you hold the angle button down, and you can go and look at the face of your character. So you can see its profile, see its face. I don't see that as an option here. So I mentioned to them, okay, do you have a photo mode, or do you have a mirror we can build? Because even in VR, you know, there's a quick button that pops a mirror there, and you can look at what you look, you know, how you look. And for me, aesthetics do play a role when I'm role playing, especially if I'm going to be on a role play server. So I want to be able to plant my butt right in front of a mirror and see what Tarkus looks like. And if they have a dying system in this game in the future, then you damn well better give us a mirror or give us a photo mode so that we can do a photo, you know, to see from a bird's eye view what we look like from the face. Because this game doesn't look like you can actually turn the camera in front of you, because every time I saw him try to turn the camera, the character moved. So you're always looking over the shoulder of your character, regardless if you're whatever angle you're going for. So you never are going to see this part of your character. So yeah, having us build a mirror, or just have a mirror in the castle where we can run up to it, it just adds a little bit of fun to the game, and it allows you to see what you look like. Because again, when it comes to these type of games, people are really into skins. They're really into what they look like. You know, there's some people that will wear crappy armor, which is a disadvantage sometimes just because it looks better. I've never understood that, but I've seen that happen. And the other thing about it is, you don't want everybody to look the same either, right? So allowing people to see themselves at a better profile, like seeing themselves like this, would allow them to kind of pick and choose on what their armor is going to look like, I guess. And you're not looking like everyone else. That was just my thought on that subject. And they could do a mirror, or they can do a mode. Or maybe before you log into the server, it shows you what you look like. Because Elder Scrolls was like that. When I logged into Elder Scrolls, my guy was standing facing me on the screen. And when I clicked choose server, my guy was there. So I can see what I looked like prior to going into the world. So they could do that too. Just have us be able to look at it. I imagine in the customizer, you're seeing but it's not showing you with your armor on. So let's say you play for 40 hours and you get some badass armor sets, and you're mixing and matching, and you just want to be able to see what you look like. I mean, I don't see reflections in the water, so it's not like I could go over to the water and look down and see what I look like, because I don't think that's Unreal Engine does that very well. So I'm imagining a mirror or something similar to a mirror. All right. Let's just forward here a little bit to go over some other topics we talked about. They went over the objects again real briefly. It looks like the claim management system was not working correctly tonight, because they just polished off a bunch of things. And I was explaining this in other videos, that when it comes to Unreal Engine, sometimes when you update or send updates to the server, other aspects of the game stop functioning. And the question is why does it do that? Well, I don't know that much about, for what I know, it happens. For how to fixing it, they obviously know what they need to fix it. So the land claim system kind of wasn't working tonight. So they weren't doing any building of structures. So if you want to see the building aspects of this game, go to live stream 6, or go to my video live stream thoughts that I did last week, and I show the building aspects of the game and what they were doing, and I've obviously had my comments while they were building. So you can watch that, my video, or you can obviously watch their video. Now, one of the things that I did ask about was mobs during the beta. What are we going to do during the beta? Are we just going to be building? Are we just going to be fighting each other? And their response to me was, we don't plan on having monsters in beta. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you got to have something for us to combat against for practice purposes outside of the PvP aspect of the game. So I had mentioned, why don't you allow us to make target dummies, or put a few target dummies down, or just have, like you're spawning the trees, you're spawning the nodes, spawn a bunch of target dummies that have no AI, that are just sitting in a cornfield, and you go up and you whack on them. You know, they're not doing anything, you're just whacking them like paper. They don't have to reward you for anything. I imagine they would reward you for whatever skills in combat you get, because it's a RuneScape model. So maybe you get some experience waving the sword or whatnot, you know, but they're just static things. It could just be a plywood fascia with its arm doing this with a silly face, you know. And you're running around the world and there's one. You knock it down and it might respawn, it might not respawn. You know, it just gives some flavor to the game that allows you, because they did say they're going to have some deer and whatnot walking around. Maybe you'll be able to attack them and get the same combat feel. I just know if you put a combat dummy down and give it some massive hit points, where it takes maybe a couple minutes to whittle it down, you're going to allow people to try the different weapon types. You know, they'll be able to try the weapon types and attack it in a controlled environment where there's not a monster attacking them, but it's just a target dummy, so that we can see how smooth the combat is. That was my recommendation. I don't know if they've got time for it or not, but it seems like if there are going to be some people in this game that are going to want to practice before they're going to want to address PvP. And most people use mobs to do that. They'll attack some weenie mobs to get used to the combat system. I asked about a tutorial. They're going to be adding one. They're going to do some simple thing in the beginning, but it's going to be like learn as you go during the beta. That's what I got out of that, was you kind of learn as you go. And it shouldn't be too difficult. If you've played other survival games, it shouldn't be too difficult to learn as you go here. They're going to be active on Discord during the beta testing. So anything we find, you'll want to report timely, because they're hoping to fix it timely, like that day. I mean, they're not going to be like a developer with their thumbs up their butts for the weekend. They're actually going to hear us say, look, this is not working, and they might be bringing the server down and then fixing it, you know, and bringing it back up, and so that things are getting resolved during the beta weekend. And I know to some people that can be really annoying. They just want to play the game. But the point of the beta is to fix things that are game breaking, and that might prompt them to do another beta, a second beta, maybe the next weekend or the following weekend, once they feel that they've fixed some aspects of the game that we might be reporting as broken during the next couple of days, because that's not a lot of time. I mean, we're going to have 2 days. Yeah, it seems like an eternity for a basketball game, but when you're playing a game that is something like this, it's a time waster kind of game where you've got to go up skill levels and you got to really put the grind in and get in components to build stuff, then 2 days is not a lot of time. So you're gonna have to beat feet when you get into the beta if you want to try to test all the aspects of the game. So here is the throne room of the Uber castle that the king lives in, I guess. And the question is can we build in this area? And we didn't get an answer. And he was going to drop a claim note. I don't know if you have to claim if you're the king of the land, that you automatically claim it, or do you have to put a claimer down to claim this building? And can you build on this building? Because I would want to be able to build at least a few gates on it if I have to protect myself within the structure. I was not clear if this is playable or this is no build area. Because there might be places in the world where you can't build, like on that shrine. You know, they might not allow me to build a wall around that shrine, because wouldn't that be a dickhead thing for targets to do, is go around at night and just wall off all the shrines? I mean, I imagine they must have areas in the game where it's like, oh, you cannot build within a certain radius of it, so that if I decided to build a wall around it, I would have to spend uber time collecting, and by the time I got it done, somebody would be like, hey, that asshole Tarkus is building walls around the shrines, and people would show up and stop me, right? But if you don't, then Tarkus could put up a quick wall and just like, ha ha, if you want to use that shrine, you're gonna have to knock it down. So we couldn't get the land claim system to work because in the last video they had divided it into plots, and those lines weren't showing up tonight. And I think that kind of got messed up when they uploaded the modeling for the character customization that they did. All right, so moving forward. That's got to be my connection. That's causing, yeah, that's my connection. I wonder why that is. I'm not, well, I got a storm coming in. I live in Vermont. There's a huge storm coming in tonight. It could be messing up my connection somehow, or my wife's upstairs downloading music. Happens sometimes, and that's fine. I mean, it's, we got the gist of what we were looking at there. Let's see if by minimizing, oh, okay, if I'm minimizing it and bringing it back up. Maybe that's just my computer telling Tarkus it needs to be rebooted. I've done a lot on the computer today, so I should have probably rebooted it before doing this video. So just to button up, the beta's this weekend. You should sign up for it. They got 100+ people who signed up for it. They're promising keys to everyone. They want as many people as possible helping them test it. I know Discord itself has ballooned. I mean, when I say ballooned, when I joined their Discord like 2 weeks ago, there was like 9 people on it. And today, I think they're over 100 people. So people are getting aware of this game and what the game has to offer. And it's a free beta. I mean, yeah, you got to fill out a little form to get in, but if you want to play a game for free for the weekend and try to work with the developer on making it the best game out there, then that's what that's what betas are all about, is to inform the developer, who's obviously forthcoming to saying, I'm going to be around the whole weekend. You know, I don't know if he's going to be pissing in a can and shitting in a bucket. I don't know what that I'm going to be around all weekend is. Like that South Park episode, the World of Warcraft South Park episode. Mama, well, I got a pool. And she comes out the bucket. Okay, well, that dates me. But I would like to say the button this video up is definitely be there this weekend. If you want to understand or get a taste of this game, show up this weekend, help beta test it. It starts Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe, and I'll definitely be there. So if you're joining and you want to play with Tarkus, then you want to choose the central server, because that's where I'm going to be, is the central server, whatever they name that server. I won't know until that day. I will be doing content on this game during the beta, so if I find things that are broken, I will be able to address them with a video and button that video up, send it to the developer and say, look guys, I found this, and this. Hopefully this is helpful to you. They might say back, they may come back to me and say, no, Tarkus, that's a feature. And, you know, you always got to love it's a feature answer, because, you know, maybe I thought it was a bug, but they think it's a feature, and they can explain to me why they think it's a feature to hear their side of it. Or they could just agree that, oh yeah, that shouldn't be functioning that way. It's definitely a bug. Well, that's really it. I mean, they went over servers, that they put the servers together, that there's settings that you can do, the character customizer, which looks very detailed and robust. They also talked about adding a randomizer. So if you're not into wanting to do customization, you can just hit a randomize button until you find something that pops up that you like, and then you can just name that character, and then you're ready to go. I mean, really simple stuff. All right, well, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkus Zone.